Picture this, a secret plot to overthrow Queen Elizabeth I, hatched by powerful northern earls. What could possibly go wrong? In 1569, a group of ambitious noblemen decided to take matters into their own hands and attempt to replace the Virgin Queen with her Catholic cousin. But their daring plan would soon unravel in spectacular fashion, leading to one of the most dramatic rebellions in English history. The Northern Earls' Rebellion of 1569 was a bold attempt to reshape the religious and political landscape of England. At its heart were two powerful figures, Thomas Percy, the 7th Earl of Northumberland, and Charles Neville, the 6th Earl of Westmoreland. These Catholic noblemen were deeply dissatisfied with Elizabeth's Protestant reforms and saw an opportunity to restore the old faith to England. Their plan was audacious, to depose Elizabeth and place Mary, Queen of Scots, on the English throne. Mary, a Catholic who had fled to England after being forced to abdicate the Scottish throne, was seen as the rightful heir by many Catholics. The Earls believed that by installing her as queen, they could reverse the Protestant Reformation and return England to the Catholic fold. But why would these powerful nobles risk everything on such a dangerous gambit? The answer lies in the complex web of religious and political tensions that defined Elizabethan England. The Earls, like many Catholics, felt increasingly marginalized under Elizabeth's rule. They saw their influence waning and their religious freedoms curtailed. For them, this rebellion was not just about power, but about preserving their way of life and their faith. The plot began to take shape in secret meetings and hushed conversations. The Earls gathered supporters, stockpiled weapons, and made tentative plans to march on London. They reached out to potential allies, including the Spanish ambassador, hoping to secure foreign support for their cause. As the conspiracy grew, so did the risks. Elizabeth's government, always vigilant against threats to the crown, began to catch wind of the plot. Spies and informants whispered of strange movements in the north, of nobles gathering forces and speaking treasonous words. The tension reached a breaking point in November 1569. Realizing that their plans had been discovered, the Earls made a fateful decision. Rather than abandon their cause, they chose to act. On November 14th, they raised their standard in Durham, declaring their intention to restore the Catholic faith and liberate Mary, Queen of Scots. For a brief moment, it seemed as though the rebellion might succeed. The Earls quickly gathered a force of several thousand men, mostly drawn from their own estates and the surrounding countryside. They marched south, capturing key towns and rallying support from other Catholic nobles. But Elizabeth and her government were not caught unprepared. The Queen quickly mobilized her forces, sending a large army north under the command of the Earl of Sussex. As news of the approaching royal army spread, the rebels' momentum began to falter. The turning point came at the siege of Barnard Castle. The rebels, lacking proper siege equipment and running low on supplies, were unable to take the fortress. This failure exposed the weaknesses in their plan and sapped their morale. As the royal army drew closer, many of the rebel soldiers began to desert. Faced with dwindling support and an approaching enemy, the Earls made a desperate decision. They fled north, hoping to find refuge in Scotland, but their escape was short-lived. Northumberland was captured and later executed, while Westmoreland managed to flee to the continent, where he lived out his days in exile. The aftermath of the rebellion was swift and brutal. Elizabeth's government, determined to stamp out any remaining resistance, launched a series of punitive expeditions across the north. Hundreds of rebels were executed, their lands confiscated, and their families ruined. The Northern Earls' rebellion had failed, but its impact would be felt for years to come. It marked a turning point in Elizabeth's reign, hardening her resolve against Catholic plots and leading to even stricter measures against recusants. The north of England, long a bastion of Catholic sentiment, would never again pose such a serious threat to Tudor rule. In the end, the rebellion serves as a stark reminder of the religious and political tensions that simmered beneath the surface of Elizabethan England. It was a time of great change and uncertainty, where ambitious nobles could dream of reshaping the kingdom, only to see their plans crumble in the face of a determined monarch and her loyal subjects. The story of the Northern Earls' rebellion is one of ambition, faith, and ultimately failure. It has a tale that continues to fascinate historians and capture the imagination of those interested in the tumultuous world of Tudor England. As we look back on this dramatic episode, we reminded of the high stakes and personal costs of rebellion in an age when loyalty to the crown was everything.